What's going on, everybody? How you feeling today? You feeling all right? It's a nice, big, fat Tuesday NHL slate. Did you sleep well? You probably should have slept well because it was a nice Monday, but knowing you guys, you didn't even sleep well because you wanted to get up right away to roll it over to the next day, and you knew there was a bunch of NHL bets, and you didn't want to be late to the party. You wanted to get up early. The early sniff catches the worm, and you wanted that to be you. But don't go crazy. Don't be unhealthy about it. If you're sleeping 3 hours, getting up looking for sniffs, you might have a problem. And if that's you, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. If that's somebody you know, they should call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. But if you are just up early looking for sniffs, maybe you went to bed early. It was all 7 o'clock games on that Monday. Maybe you went to bed at 9:30, right before the 10 o'clock news started. You got in your full 8. Now you're up early and you want to know, what are my sniffs for the Tuesday? I got some for you. I am rather happy that this week started out on a positive note for both NFL and NHL. I needed something to I was like the Cowboys and the Chargers. You know, I was doing okay, but you know, we have Super Bowl aspirations here on this show and on this channel, and it was nice for a good Monday across both sports. Hopefully you guys were able to enjoy some of the fruits of those sniffs. Anybody who took, you know, I'm a little pissed off that I barely missed that plus 1,000 same game parlay just because of a Tony Pollard touchdown. That's a different sport. I know you guys, how crazy is that? You know how excited that makes me that I'm like, all right, now come on, nobody wants to hear about NFL. Imagine that. Nobody wants to hear about NFL. This is NHL, and that truly gets me excited for this next video. Just as excited as you should be for that Bet365 promotion, where if you're a new user over there, you deposit 10, place a $5 bet, you're getting $150 in free bonus bets. You just got to be a new user over there, and it's not available in all states in the U.S., so check the description down below in this video. It'll tell you which states have it, and it has it in Canada, and it's available international. So if you want that promotion, make sure you click on the appropriate link in the description of this video. Okay, you got to be over 21, except for Kentucky, where they're just letting 18-year-olds do it. I'm not going to complain. Hey, 18-year-olds can do it there. Happy to have you 18-year-old Kentucky folk watching this video and getting your sniffs in for this Tuesday. So what's the first one that I'm going to give you? I gave you Washington as my favorite one yesterday. That was a little scary at first. But even crusty teams, and they are certainly crusty, they are slow and old as bones out there, but they were able to win in the shootout. You guys remember what we say with the shootouts? You know, it's kind of, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I liked LA on Saturday. I died by the sword. And last night, we lived, but the overtime giveth and the overtime taketh away. It giveth last night. It giveth many things. We got that Fox point along with the 2+ goals. But the thing is, it's a minefield out there. You got to navigate the minefield. Toronto was way too expensive. We stayed out of there. I just thought Florida might be a little bit desperate. They pulled out a win. We got on that Fox point. We took Washington. We'll take those slight wins and move it over to Tuesday. And my favorite play, I almost should start with kind of my second favorite because I never want you guys to think this is biased. I am an Islanders fan. I am. But as you saw last night, I have no problem saying, yeah, I'll take an Adam Fox point 100%. I told you yesterday I thought that the Islanders were a good play for Tuesday. I gave you the look-ahead line. And I'm happy about the way that Arizona game went. It was a fight for every inch game, 2-1, 1-1 in the third. Any of those tightly contested games, I always feel like are a little more draining. Opposed to taking a beating or giving a beating, you get to stay relaxed. But when you're in a 1-1 squeaker, I think that takes a little something extra out of you. Just a theory I have. Think about it yourself. All right, 1-1, that's a strenuous game opposed to, we're down 5-1. You kind of mail in most of that third period on both sides of it. I like that came down to the very end because now they're taking the ice 24 hours later against a rested Islanders team who's going to be playing Sorokin. Look, it's the NHL. Look at some of these results we've seen. Double Vancouver over Edmonton. Last night, Chicago on the road in Toronto, you know, especially in this October. Hey, whatever happened to October? Whatever happened to October? Never came around this year. Only one yesterday. And I have no problem with that. I really don't care because I'm an unders all year guy. So if you want to start early, that's fine by me. A random thing that I'll let you guys know about overs and unders. I meant to tell you guys this last year. There was a nice stretch of overs, but you'll just never see me get on them. And my theory about overs and unders, there are multiple roads to unders. There's one road to an over. You need the offenses to click. You need the goalies to not be hot, and everything needs to go your way to go over 6.5. You can have an offense that's dialing on all cylinders, but you could have a goalie steal you an under. You can have two teams just be playing a defensive battle. That can get you an under. You can get lucky to get an under, a couple of posts, empty net misses, whatever it may be. There are many ways to get that under. It can just legitimately happen. It can be a 3-2 game. It can be like a 4-2 game, 3-2 with an empty netter, 4-2, stays under 6.5. Multiple roads to go under 6.5. To go over 6.5, everything has to go right. I look at it like you need some goals early, and then you need a couple in the middle. But because if it's 1-1, like 6 minutes into the second, it's like, all right, well, I lost that. Opposed to the other way, you have seen games that go 2-2, and then once it hits like the halfway point of the game, people start to play defensive, and you can try to squeeze it out. There are many roads to unders. There aren't many roads. There's only one road. There's one sneaky side road with multiple empty netters, like you saw that in the Florida game the other night on Saturday. But I typically take unders because of the many paths that you can get there. Anyway, back to those Islanders. I do think that they're well set up to win this game. The Islanders aren't one of the best teams in the league, I'll tell you that right now. So, you always do have to be weary, but I mean, you're not really getting many better spots than this. They're waiting at home after their home opener win for a team who played last night. They're set up well. If they don't come through, then they screwed us, but that's the right side to be on. I'll take it. And Brock Nelson, Islander fans will tell you it's Brocktober. Regardless of what they tell you, Brock Nelson has always been one of the streakiest scorers in the NHL. When they come, they tend to come in bunches. He picked up 2 the other night. I'll take him to register a point with that Islanders win. That will get you them at like plus 115 or something like that. But if you want even more money, Matt Barzal just never shoots, but he's a great player. I mean, he is a pass first, like Johnny Gaudreau type of player, but who doesn't even shoot as much as Johnny Gaudreau. So if I'm taking Barzal, it's always going to be an assist. If you take Barzal to get an assist with the Islanders, that puts you at like plus 235, I think, or something like that. I really do think that's a great sneaky bet. Islanders have an awful power play, but still, he's operating it. He's playing on the top line with Horvat. Plenty of chances for Barzal to get that assist. He almost had a few last game, wasn't able to connect on any of them. But still, I will go back to that as maybe a little secondary one. But Brock Nelson's probably where you want to go because when he's hot, he's typically very hot. So I'll go Islanders in that one. And then my second favorite one is a team I was wrong about over the weekend. I think maybe, was it for Friday? But I like to take a team after they pitch a shutout. I just do. I always feel like there's supreme confidence from the goaltending and defense and everybody heading into that next game. Didn't work out at all. Not that surprised. It was after game 1 in the season, so anything can kind of happen. But the Wild are going to Montreal. This is classic early season Montreal where they can lose in overtime, almost beat Toronto. Then they came home, went up 3-0 in their home opener against the Blackhawks. Blackhawks got it to 3-2, and then, Montreal ended up holding out and winning. But don't kid yourselves. Now, this is Montreal in their second home game facing a legitimate team. I mean, Minnesota, they'll make you earn it, all right? Toronto earned it. By the way, isn't this classic Toronto from last year? Play up to a team that was very good like Minnesota, and we'll see how good Minnesota is this year. But they were a tough out every single game, opened the season with a shutout against a team that went to the Stanley Cup, and then look what they do. Toronto will lose to Chicago last night and wax Minnesota a couple nights ago. Classic Chicago. Can't really blame them. That's just kind of what it's like for some of those better teams around the league. Sometimes they get up and then they play down. They're a play up to your level, play down to your level. And it looks like Toronto's right back on that track. Overtime against Montreal. beating to the Wild and then lose at home to the Blackhawks. But I don't think the Wild, they don't look over any opponent. You're going to get good effort from them, especially after, kind of a beating that they took from Toronto. I don't think they're going to want to start 0-2 on the road. I'll take the Wild, and I think we're getting a decent price. You think if this game was in January, you're getting the Wild at like minus 145? I don't think so. I will take the Wild to beat Montreal on the road. Those are probably my two favorite. But you guys come to this channel because there's a big rotating vase of noses next to me. You want sniffs. You want sniffs? You got sniffs. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Flyers at home to beat the 2-0 Vancouver Canucks, who are beating Edmonton. Edmonton was a team that I had a lot of faith in. Vancouver beats them back-to-back. Andy, what do you have, a vendetta against Vancouver? No, I just think when you get a team from the West Coast going east, I can assure you, Washington is an awful team. They looked awful. They got shut out by the Penguins in their own building, scraped together too. They looked old, slow, miserable. They still beat Calgary last night. I think those West Coast teams coming east, this is going to be the Flyers' home opener. They scrounged a win in Game 1, lost to Ottawa Game 2. We're going to see. We're going to see if Vancouver's show travels on the road, because obviously they're up for that game in Western Canada. How do you think it's going to go down in Philly? You think they're as friendly in Philly as they are in Edmonton? And you could say, no, this is a Western Canadian. I know I have people in Western Canada watching. People in your stadiums would never throw beer bottles at Santa Claus, ever. And that's what those people are ready to do in Philly. Maybe not on night one of the NHL season, more so for Eagles games, but still, I expect Tortorella and that team to put forth a workmanlike effort in their home opener in Philly. I'm going to take the Flyers to beat Vancouver. Another one that I'm very tempted, but I want to see what happens, because if they lose, I'm really going to go in hard on them this weekend. I'm tempted to take the Sabres against the Lightning. Lightning have been bad on the road. The goaltending deficiencies are coming to the forefront. The problem is the Sabres haven't really looked good either. They lost handily to the Rangers, then went to the Island, lost to the Islanders. That was a close game, but still their stars weren't really shining at all. You want to know what I want to do in this one? You can do a Bet365 Caesar same game, and you could take Braden Point and Tage Thompson. You got to think goals are going to be scored in this. The over-under set is 7. For each of those guys to get on the score sheet once, I think is likely. You put those two together, you should get that at some plus money. Or if you want to just take either of those because you don't have the same game parlays to utilize, then why don't you take those Minnesota Wild or the Islanders by the money line, because those are minuses, and then put them with one of those point props. That could be a good one there. But I do like both of those players. If you want to use Dahlin instead of Thompson because, slightly better price, I'm okay with that. One of these games, you're going to get an outburst from the Sabres. And when you look, Detroit had a nice little outburst against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they're letting in goals. They're going, you know what? We ain't doing it with defense and Vasilevsky. We're trading chances. And early season Lightning usually is down to trade chances because they don't play the defense that they try to do later in the year. And they don't even have the personnel to do that like they did in previous years. So I would imagine goals are being scored this game. So I'll take Point and Tage Thompson with a little side slice of Rasmus Dahlin. And then lastly, there's always time for revenge on this channel. Looking from the outside, probably not the best spot to bet against the Kraken, who have looked miserable. You come after me, it's going to have some long-term negative consequences for you. How do you feel now, cockroaches? 0-3 start to the season, can't even score. You don't know what you're doing out there. Are you just back now to that expansion team? Are you? I hope you savored every morsel of those playoff victories. Because now you're 0-3 and, they're coming for you. And they, on this particular night, Colorado Avalanche, just feel, I get a little PTSD just saying that name against the Kraken. I'm taking the Colorado Avalanche to beat the Kraken in a rematch of that opening round playoff exit from last year. You would imagine Colorado has a little revenge on their mind. Colorado was a little, they fell asleep behind the wheel against the Sharks, were able to tie it late, and then they won in overtime So they've started 2-0. Once again, they heavily rely on that top line and that stable of defensemen. So I'll take Colorado to win, and I'll do it with Makar, but just know this is a little bit of a stubborn bet. It's usually not smart to bet against an 0-3 team in their home opener. Or is it 0-2? No, I think they lost 3. They lost to Vegas. They lost to Nashville. Am I forgetting one? Well, it's 0-2 or it's 0-3. But they're not scoring, and they look bad in the process. So give me Colorado with the Makar point in there. Let's see if I can get... It's never going to give me the full revenge that I want, but I'll take a little early season slice. I just don't like that the Kraken are probably going to be playing hard in this one. But, God, you got to think McKinnon and them want to take this one. So I'll take Colorado there. And that's what I have for you on a Tuesday. Like 4 games there that I kind of like. Anything more than that would be uncivilized, as Hogan used to say in those commercials. I forgot what product that is. Definitely wasn't Odd Shopper Premium, and that's a product that you should always be looking at. The Area 51 Bunker Analytics is what I call it. You know, they definitely have some good props, and they can lean you in the right directions. I use a little more for NFL, but they got it for NHL and all sports. If you don't watch certain sports like the MLB like me, they got it for there. So go check out Odd Shopper Premium over on the website and everything. You get some great values over there. Come follow me on social media. It's at Andy Francis on all social media platforms. And I'll be back with you tomorrow to take a look at some of the Wednesday games. Good luck to all of us. I'm not going to pull my shenanigans. I want to be pulling us all in the right direction as we get into the later part of October here. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.